It's the end of week 1 of our feeding trial. We are just increasing the amount of wet food per day to 3 pouches. We started off with just 1 pouch of wet food for the first few days, and for the second half of the week I increased it to 2 pouches of wet food along with his normal dry food, obviously a cut down amount. And one of those pouches I'd been given to him in the morning just to try and sort of spread it out evenly throughout the day. I was a little bit concerned because he's always been fed dry food, whether having 2 pouches of wet food all of a sudden would play havoc with his digestive system. So hence why when I did up it to 2, I've started giving him 1 in the morning. So now we are going up to 3 pouches a day. He seems to be doing really well. No ill effects so far, touch wood. Like I say, we are still feeding his own dry, so the next step will be to swap onto a bit of the Pedigree dry to accompany his wet food pouches. Nutrition is important to me, and also important as to where the food actually comes from and what's in it. I had a rescue dog years ago who was found wild, basically roaming the Welsh mountains, and when we brought her into a home environment and tried to feed her commercial dog food, it just played havoc with the system. She was back and forth to the vet constantly. And it's found out basically that she was intolerant to any sort of additives and anything like that. So for me, having had that sort of history and background, it made me realise that actually there is a lot of rubbish in a lot of dog foods, and it played havoc with her immune system, and she just never really put on any weight until we then found a food that was free of all additives, etc., and she did really well, and that's what was obviously affecting her immune system. So for me, with Pedigree being full of goodness basically and no rubbish, then it's quite an important tick box on my list of requirements. Part of the feeding trial is that we feed them Dentasticks, which is great because his wet food intake has obviously gone up and his dry food intake has gone down. So for me, that does concern me about the health of his teeth. So we are regularly feeding Dentasticks, and of course he loved them. There we go. He's a bit of a dainty eater.